I got stung by a honeybee last night and I used it. I tried this again. Wait till you see this bee sting. You may have saw my other review of the bug bite thing where I stung myself with a honeybee right on my arm and then tested it out. And in that review video, I determined that this thing does not work. So I had a bunch of people reach out to me, including Bug Bite Thing, the company itself, saying that I did some things wrong. I kind of wrote it off because it did not work at all. Like my arm swelled up really bad. It wasn't great. So a couple things they said I did wrong. You're supposed to use this piece here on the end, this little scraper, to scrape the bee sting out. I did remove the bee sting carefully. Honeybees have a little sac of venom on the bee sting, so if you squeeze it and grab it, it actually pumps that venom into your arm to make it worse. I didn't do that, but I did not use the tool here. So the other claim was that I didn't leave it on long enough and I didn't use it quick enough. So I kind of wrote it off. I felt like I used it correctly, but it just so happened last night I was in front of my beehives. There's some crabgrass growing. During the day, I can't get close enough to really pull it out, and it was the evening, and I wanted to pull this crabgrass, and I did get stung by a bee. So I'll show you the bee sting here in a second, but I used the scraper here on the end and scraped the bee sting off. It did take it out really nicely, so that part works really well. And then I used the tip here. I used the small tip like this, and I suctioned it on really well, and I held it for at least 30 seconds. When I removed this, there was actually a small drop of blood. It was a little bit clearish that had pulled back out of the bee sting hole, which I was really surprised with. So it did actually pull a liquid back out, which should have some of the venom in it at least. And I'll just show you where my bee sting was. It was literally right here below my eye. So I was expecting this to really swell up really bad, especially with how bad my arm swelled up. Near your eye, I feel like on your face, bee stings are always worse. But I put this thing on here, and look at this. You can kind of tell it's slightly red, but I have zero pain now. Even, I'd say 15 minutes after, I completely forgot I got stung until I was showing my kids and whatever. And you could barely tell at all. It actually worked really well. So maybe I did use it wrong the first time, but even for a honeybee sting, you can see this is 14 hours later, and you can barely even tell. So very little pain, like honestly no pain. Just a little red mark, maybe some slight swelling there. But I changed my opinion on this. I do think it works even for bee stings. So if you're looking for an easy way to stop mosquito bites or bee stings, keep one of these in your backpack or your purse, just have it ready to go. And yeah, I have to say, this thing does work great.